Chicago Bears made some big moves this offseason.
I believe the Chicago Bears team can make the playoffs next year.
Also, we react to the UEFA Champions League and predict our winners. I think the draw went perfectly. It went perfectly in the sense that Atletico and Dortmund, the two lowest teams in our rankings, got to meet up with each other, which means everyone else is a heavyweight matchup.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another BTR podcast.
Today, we're going to have an NFL heavy pod with some Champions League news as well.
Before we continue, make sure you guys like this video, comment, and subscribe. We dropped a banger Saturday afternoon, inspired by our video about the Orlando Magic GOAT debate. We decided to release for right now part 1, which is the Western Conference, each NBA team's GOAT. Make sure you guys check that video out. Part 2 should be out on Wednesday, which is the Eastern Conference. But as always, make sure you guys follow our socials, link down below, and we'll get right into it with some heavy news in the NFL, considering it's been about a week or so since free agency began.
If you were to describe the free agency as crack, you are not wrong.
This is
it is on crack.
This is the first NFL free agency where outside of the first couple of days, it continued on. Usually there's a huge break, and then it picks up in the draft period. But this time, we're actually getting massive trades that some of them we did not expect happening. So let's talk about the one, Justin Fields. The Chicago Bears, they made 2 big trades, right? We'll talk about part 1, which was finally parting ways with Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a future 6th round pick. Justin Fields will back up Russell Wilson as of this moment, but don't be surprised if Fields does take the field.
So 2025 6th round pick conditional, depending on his playing time, could be a 4th round pick as well. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on overall the whole Justin Fields situation before we talk about the Bears specifically. For me, Justin Fields is still a top 32 quarterback. I'm going to put it that way. Like, he's a starter in the league, right? And a lot of things could be true. I've always said that about many things about the podcast, during the podcast, about different topics through different sports. So here are my thoughts on this. The Bears failed Justin Fields. Point blank, plain and simple. From day one he entered the organization, when they traded up to get him as well, giving away pieces, they failed him. It was Matt Nagy at first. Later on, I feel like with the Ryan Poles era and the Matt Eberflus era, it got better as time went on. But early on, you failed massively because he did not have a proper O-line. He did not have proper weapons to throw the ball to. And yes, I'm not saying Justin Fields is excluded from anything.
He is at fault.
He is at fault for certain things, but to me, they failed him, right? Plain and simple. I'm not going to sit here and say that I did not see the same guy I saw in Ohio State. Granted, college is different, but in Ohio State, I'm like, yes, he is the guy after Trevor Lawrence, for sure. So with that being said, though, the Bears did learn from their mistake. Last year, they went out and traded away the first pick, right? Got a haul for him, right? This year, they went out and we're going to talk about it in a second, Keenan Allen. They got Montez Sweat and extended him earlier during the season, right? They extended or re-signed Jalen Johnson. So they're doing the right things. They're giving him the weapons. O-line might still need work. That's the draft's job. But at least for now, even if they didn't draft Caleb Williams, they were doing the right thing. Now, for sure, the right thing to do was to draft Caleb Williams. I said that mainly because he is the better talent. You cannot pass up on another first overall pick. That will be fire-worthy for Ryan Poles. And at least you have a rookie contract for 5 more years.
To reset, yeah.
Right? So that's my overall thoughts. 2 things could be right, but the Bears did fail Justin Fields.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that. They did fail Justin Fields. I know Fields is still at fault as well. Matt Nagy was not good for him. Ryan Poles definitely did do a better job because, Fields did get DJ Moore as well for a year. And we saw, good Fields near the end of the year. Here's the reason why the Fields was on move. Because 2 straight years in a row, he struggled in the first half of the season, got injured, came back, and played like a stud, right? That screams inconsistent quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And that is totally understandable why, Justin Fields was traded. And especially, they did right by him. He wanted Steelers. He went to the Steelers as well, which is good on the Bears in that sense. But you can't trust that quarterback, especially when Caleb Williams or a Drake May and some of these guys are going to be available. At the end of the day, it's a strong quarterback class, right? When in this upcoming draft, if you weren't confident in Justin Fields, you got to get rid of him because there's no point of risking, trading away the first overall pick again unless, they got like a massive haul.
Which they would have, maybe not as much as last year. Last year they did a great job. Last year
was
a
great job, yeah. Because last year that was only 1 year of that.
Exactly.
But now we had 2 straight years of Justin Fields not having a good first half, but incredible second half.
But again, with DJ Moore, they didn't use him properly till he came back after injury. I forget who their guy was. Badgett? Yeah, right. Yeah. It wasn't until after where he started balling out and stuff. And this year they got Seattle's OC. Last year's OC is now their OC. I forget his name at the moment, right? But at the same time, Ryan Poles, yes, he fleeced the trade
against the Panthers.
The Panthers. However, Chase Claypool was not worth the 32nd overall pick. So essentially, with the Pittsburgh Steelers alone, you traded for a Chase Claypool and a 2025 sixth potential 4th round pick for Justin Fields, who still has potential, and
Joey Porter Jr.
Who was that 32nd pick, 33rd pick, however you want to label it, right? So he does not get a say in terms of like I guess the original trade was not on him because to trade up for Justin Fields, it was the right move. It's just like the original regime messed everything up for him. Now he is correcting it, but unfortunately it is at the expense of Fields. I'm still rooting for Fields to be the guy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I'm seeing Bears fans saying like, "Oh, what do you mean Fields did not have a great good line? He had a better O-line than people expected." Blah blah blah. You got to watch the game sometimes. I understand analytics show certain things, but at the end of the day,
when you're running for your life,
exactly. And at the end of the day, yeah, it's true he could be holding on the ball. Caleb Williams isn't going to be available. You'll be dumb to pass up on CJ Stroud. Yes, Bryce Young is not what he is at the moment. You passed up on Anthony Richardson.
We don't know what he is yet.
Yeah, but still. And then currently Jaden Daniels and obviously Caleb Williams, which is a first overall pick, likely.
And we know what Fields is, right? At the end of the day, Fields is a decent quarterback. Fields is an inconsistent quarterback. That's what we learned from Fields in his first 4 years or first 3 years. And on top of that, the rookie contract reset is like a major thing because now the Sweat contract is so much more affordable. The Jalen Johnson contract is so much more affordable. You could afford Keenan Allen, who you traded for, as well.
Before we go on to the Chicago Bears as a whole, let's quickly finish off the Pittsburgh Steelers talk here. They obviously needed him because they traded away Kenny Pickett, which we'll talk about later, and they got Justin Fields. They had no backups. Mason Rudolph ended up being a Titan, I believe.
Yeah.
So they needed a guy. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the weapons there because Deontay Johnson obviously got traded as well. They need to figure out their weapon situation. But again, we've seen Russell Wilson good and bad in Denver, right? The bad being horrendous, the good being a lot better.
Decent,
right? So there's still, and listen, Justin Fields gets to learn off a class organization. Yes, they have QB struggles themselves ever since Ben Roethlisberger. He gets to learn off Russell Wilson, minus hopefully he doesn't take away his ego. But outside of that, I feel like it's a good spot to go to. You could learn from there. And Russell Wilson only has a 1-year contract. Maybe he does a Baker Mayfield and gets a big-time contract after. However, in the meantime, or you could just come in and take the reins whenever he does bad, or if Russell Wilson ends up going to a different team.
I'm not going to be surprised if Justin Fields is starting by week 6 or starting a game at least by week 6. Obviously, Wilson is just... We don't know what Wilson is going to be. We generally do not know what... Especially at 36, right? Like, it just might be... we're witnessing a decline of a normal aging quarterback, right? Like, there's no shame that Wilson is, playing bad of his age, right? Like, it happens to a lot of people. The only person it doesn't happen to is Tom Brady. And, like, then in the Roethlisberger in some sense, Rodgers in some sense as well, right? Other than that, like, Peyton Manning started struggling when he's late 30s. So did Eli Manning. So it's no shame in that. So I won't be surprised that if Fields is a starter by, like, week 6.
We'll come back to the Kenny Pickett trade. I don't think we talked about it last time.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's a quick talk anyways. So we'll get back to that.
Yeah, so we'll go back to the Bears quickly. They also traded away a 4th-round pick to the Chargers for Keenan Allen, which came out of nowhere, right? Because there were talks about restructuring, cutting him. Are they going to cut the defensive guys? And it ended up restructuring both of them. They obviously cut Mike Williams last time we talked about this, and now they traded away Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen came out and said, I did not want to
restructure
or like take a pay cut because I had a breakout year, not a breakout year, but
a good year, a very good year.
Yeah. So I don't disagree with that. He had options. I think he chose the Bears based on what reporting was saying, and he said on the press conference, thank God, because I thought the Texans would have been a perfect spot for him. But it was between the Texans and I forget the other team. But that being said,
I think it was the Jets.
It was the Jets. Okay, so that being said, like I said, the Bears might be this year's Texans next year, right? I would make, assuming they take Caleb Williams, we'll revisit this during the draft. I believe this Chicago Bears team can make the playoffs next year and possibly win the division.
Oh yeah, this NFC North just got way tougher, right? You have the Lions, you have the Packers, and now you got the Bears, right in the conversation, and we don't know how far Jefferson could carry the Vikings.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, they're still gonna make games tough for you. It's not gonna be easy win because at the end of the day, divisional games are tough to win.
Yeah.
They are no matter who they are, unless you're the Patriots from last year. But
yeah.
That being said, like you draft Caleb Williams, you draft either a Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu or whoever else is available at
tackle or guard.
Tackle or guard at number 8, right? 8,
9, I think.
9, and then draft another old lineman in the second round. Right?
Your defense is already stud, right?
Like linebackers are set. Cornerbacks, Jalen Johnson is the leader there. I don't know who your cornerback 2 is. I do not remember. Safety wise, you did add in Jonathan Owens, and I forgot. I think they have someone else as well.
And then you have Montez Sweat leading.
Oh, Kevin Byard, that's what it was. So again, those are gonna be hit and miss safeties. If they're good players, they're just inconsistent. Owens was decent, and Packers with the Green Bay Packers as well.
Flipping to the offense, you have Cole Kmet at tight end. You added DeAndre Swift on running back. But the thing is, your wide receiver duo, who were both top 10 in yards, I believe, last year, receiving yards.
Yeah, I think
sure.
so.
At least top 15 for sure.
Yeah.
They're probably duo-wise top 5, right? Top 5 to 7 at least.
Oh, 100%, right? They're guaranteed top 10. There's no debate about that. Around 5 to 7 is fair, I would say. Because you still got the Bengals duo as of this moment with Higgins. Dolphins duo, Eagles duo, right? There's probably a couple other ones that I'm not mentioning off the top of my head. But 5 to 7 is fair. And DJ Moore, stud last year. That fleece was incredible, right, by Ryan Poles.
Yeah,
managing to get DJ Moore in that trade was incredible.
It was Bryce. They still have 2025 second as well, right? So
yeah, and
Bryce Young for Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and whoever else they picked in those draft picks.
They made the Panthers cry. Like the Panthers came out and said, "We were crying that DJ Moore is gone."
Yeah,
but they fleeced, right?
Exactly.
And they're set up. I don't think the Bears have ever been set up like this in a long, long time. Defensively, again, Edwards and Edmonds are your good linebackers. Sweat. I wish you could partner Sweat with another edge rusher in free agency. I don't know if you should still be able to afford that.
Yeah.
And then cornerback, if you could get a CB2, unless I'm missing out on something. I apologize, but I don't know.
Because they have people available.
I don't know who your CB2 is at this moment.
Yeah.
But Jalen Johnson, all-pro cornerback last year. The Bears are set. The Bears are set more than the Texans were at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
The Bears at this moment were better than the Texans were at the beginning of last year.
I believe so too, right? Like now, obviously, rookie quarterback, we'll see what happens with that, and we don't know what the play calling is gonna be like for Caleb Williams, because like Seahawks fans weren't like upset they lost their guy as well. We saw
true.
the Seahawks play last couple of years, but the thing is, this guy's getting, the coach himself, the OC, who is getting pieces around him, right? He's getting Caleb Williams, most likely. We're just assuming Caleb Williams is the guy. And Caleb Williams showed in college with what he did with a bad defense, right? Whereas like those USC games are shootouts because of him.
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure.
And so I'm calling it right now. Early bold predictions. We'll see what happens during draft time and obviously the other offseason moves. Chicago Bears will probably make the playoffs this year. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, and the NFC is not as competitive as the AFC as well. So a wild card, you cannot be surprised if they're a wild card team.
Exactly. Going back, let's go back to the Eagles very quickly. Other trades we need to revisit and signings that happen. Eagles acquired Kenny Pickett.
Backup purposes, Mariota was signed by the Commanders, I believe. So they have no QB2. Kenny Pickett is that QB2. He is still in the state of Pennsylvania. So he's still close to home.
They inquired about Justin Fields, did not agree to a deal. That's why they got Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, I have some thoughts about him in a second. Pittsburgh will receive number 98, 2025 seventh rounders, while the Eagles will get Pickett and number 120. Kenny Pickett supposedly was annoyed that he got his bench last year for Mason Rudolph, and then he's like, okay, I want out now that we got Russell Wilson. So here's my thing. I'm going to say my thing, and I'll let you rebuttal, agree, disagree, whatever you want. Again, multiple things could be true. Was Kenny Pickett done right with Matt Canada? Hell no, right? But should he have gotten an opportunity with whoever else they brought, whoever the guy was, or this year with Arthur Smith? Sure. But there's no way that you should be coming out and acting like a little bitch, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Because you can't be. Listen, you're a quarterback. I get it. You want the opportunity. I get it. But you can't come out and whine and be like, I don't want to be here because of you're not giving me the proper opportunity. Blah blah blah. Especially if you haven't been the guy, right? For me, it's like look what happened to Carson Wentz when he had the lack of professionalism in the Eagles. Instantly gets traded, and then yes, the Colts rumors, whatever. He hasn't been the same guy since the injury. Is mainly because of the injury probably, but also his ego. Look at Russell Wilson's ego currently.
Oh yeah, he's been jumping ship.
So you're a young guy that hasn't panned out yet,
proven anything,
and you're coming out and complaining about.
It's a different story. You know who gets to complain as a young guy, or when he was drafted. Justin Herbert got to complain.
We'll talk about the Chargers in a second.
Joe Burrow gets to complain and obviously he got done right by they actually listened to him and Jamar Chase and then the offensive line help.
Exactly.
Those guys are allowed to complain because their rookie years or second years were incredible. You don't have the right to complain. Mason Rudolph is the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers were in the playoffs, not Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Right? So sit behind the veteran quarterback and learn. Now you're going to have to do that again because Jalen Hurts is basically a vet.
Yeah, you're not starting over Jalen Hurts.
You're not starting over Jalen Hurts. So, again, you're still a backup, so it doesn't really matter. Were you done right? No. Was it?
Well, you can't be acting
but
like
it was your fault. It was your fault as well.
You can't be acting like that, especially at that age.
Yeah. And you didn't do anything. Right? Fields, at least, took it like a man. You didn't take it like a man. Herbert has the right to say shit.
Yeah. I'll talk about Herbert in a second, but I want to finish off these other trades. Falcons traded Desmond Ridder 1-for-1 to the Cardinals for Rondale Moore. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is that they required Rondale Moore at there's a dip in Rondale Moore's price. And yes, he was bad last year, 100%. I still think there's an upside to Rondale Moore. As a wide receiver 3, he should be getting a lot more open because the focus is on London and then Pitts as well.
Pitts, Bijan, and even Mooney.
And even Mooney as well. So, he's generally going to be the fourth option. And I think he could thrive in that position. Desmond Ridder, again, backup quarterback purposes. I think Desmond Ridder is good as a backup quarterback for sure, not as a starter, because that was proven last year. As a starter, he was terrible.
Commanders send Sam Howell to the Seahawks. The Seahawks will get Howell and a 4th-round pick, which is number 102, and a 6th-round selection at number 179, while the Commanders will receive a 3rd-rounder, number 78, and the 5th-rounder, which is number 152.
Again, he's going to be a backup. But I feel like Sam Howell could be the future quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. I do believe that. Yes, Sam Howell had a terrible second half of the year. Don't get me wrong. But what we saw from Sam Howell for very minimal help he had, especially from his own line, he was leading the league in yards. Out of all the quarterbacks in the entire NFL, after mid-season, Sam Howell was your league leader in passing yards. And that's what Tua chucking deep balls to Tyreek Hill every single play.
Yeah, no, so here are my thoughts, right? Is this price a little steep? Yes. 3rd-round pick plus others. Yes, there were pick swaps involved. I get that. They lost Drew Lock, Seattle, right, to the Giants. And obviously I have a buddy that's a Seahawks fan. He's a little confused by it. I'm not. I agree with you more so. Listen, Geno got hurt a bit last year. Right, he played injured. Drew Lock had to come in one game and actually save the game. I think it was against the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken.
They beat the Eagles, yeah.
Right? Sam Howell has proven he could start in this league. Yes, he's a 5th-rounder. I get it. He might not be the quarterback of the future. You might have to pay him soon. But at least you get a head start to assess him. He guy has a cannon. You have DK Metcalf. You have Lockett. You have JSN, Jackson Smith and Najigba. You have Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. And you have a pretty good tight end in Noah Fant, right? O-line, they need help.
For sure.
They need to draft sign whoever is good enough to be available, but they need to fix up the O-line because obviously Sam Howell had a bad O-line. But if you fix up the O-line, I don't know how their new staff is going to be. offensively, especially. I know Mike McDonald will be fine on the defensive side. I don't hate this. Like this guy could be your future. I know Seahawks fans want to go get Penix because same state is played in the same state. I'm not saying he's from the same state, and maybe Bo Nix or whoever could be available. Spencer Rattler who opened some eyes for some teams as well. But right now you could use those picks on your O line, D line, whatever you need to fix up. And Sam Howell could potentially. I'm not saying he is. At least you don't have to sign him.
Yeah, you don't. And the thing with Sam Howell, yes. We can't say he's a bona fide starter, right? We can't say he confidently is a starter, but what thing I can say confidently is that he deserves another opportunity, or he deserves a chance still.
Yeah.
Right. He was bad at the end of the day. Like, he was bad in the last stretch. He led the league in interceptions, I think, or he was up there as well. So we can't say like Sam Howell was, is gonna be a starter again. We can't say that, but we can say that like maybe a year or two off as a backup. Learn from Gino, who's a proper vet.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Sam Howell does get a shot as a starting quarterback, or at least, we don't know what Gino's going to do at the end of the day, right? Gino could be bad, and Sam Howell could be a starting quarterback, in week 7.
Exactly, right? Because it's not Pete Carroll calling plays anymore.
It's someone else, right? It is going to be someone else. Like, Gino is Pete Carroll's boy at the end of the day. And there's a new head coach, there's a new offensive guy. So things are going to change in Seattle. And I think Sam Howell, I don't think you should be upset with that. Yes, is the third a little too hefty? Yes, I agree with that. I think it could have been like a 5th or anything.
Especially when you see what you got Justin Fields for.
Exactly. But I don't think Sam Howell is a bad move for the Seattle Seahawks at all.
I don't either. Like I'm fine with it. And
then Dubs for Washington, you got a 3rd round pick as well for a guy whose value really dropped in the second half of the year as well.
Exactly. Like Chicago knows what they're doing at quarterback now. They're getting a quarterback. Same thing with Washington. New England is now getting a quarterback because the only fun combo we had was maybe Justin Fields goes there and gets Marv. But again, New England, new staff there as well. So we kind of have an answer of everywhere who the quarterback is going to be. And the teams that had disgruntled stars, they actually moved them. So my question to you before we talk about the Chargers is this. How surprised are you that the Fields market was this low compared to, like, they're saying that Ritter was talked about more than Fields, right? Zach Wilson's still going to get traded or cut, and he has no market right now, which that one makes more sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
But when you see these trades and then you see the Fields trade, do you think it's more so that the Bears valued him highly and then that's why his market went down and waited too long? Or is it just because, or is it genuinely just got fleeced?
I think it was they were probably looking for a starting quarterback type return, not like a Matthew Stafford starting quarterback, right? Like return, but like like a starting quarterback return, maybe
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz was a 2nd round pick, right?
First round pick. It ended up being
a 1st round pick. So something like close to that, a 2nd or 3rd, right? And I guess teams just weren't buying in that. And I think the teams were looking at what I looked at, that 2 years in a row, this guy struggled for like half the year until his back was against the wall due to his future, and that's when he started playing good. So maybe teams were looking at that in that sense. We're like, okay, we don't want this guy.
And the contract status as well.
And then, he's going to have to get, signed again, because I don't think his 5th-year option is going to get picked up, because that 5th-year option will be like $25 million.
Yeah.
So in that case, I think, market probably dried out for him. The Bears were probably waiting too long because they were asking highly. Other than that, Sam Darnold got signed by Gardner Minshew was moved to Vegas, got signed by Vegas. And then Kirk Cousins went to Atlanta. Wilson went to Steelers. Options running out, right? And now at this rate, I just feel like it was understandable why the market dried out. I don't think it was I think it's still a little bit of fleece as next year's.
Yeah.
I think you could have easily gone like a 4th still.
Yeah, I think they could have gone on a trade this year's 6th.
Yeah.
Whatever the Kenny Pickett trade was.
Essentially, yeah.
I think he's better than Kenny Pickett, right?
I do believe that too. So I think in the sense of they definitely did not get the best package back. But I definitely believe that they were not going to get the package they hoped for.
Because the more they wait, they know the more they're going to be like, okay, well, the draft is coming. Unless they trade the 1st overall pick away, they know that their backs are against their wall.
Exactly.
Right?
So it just in sense of a waiting game, and then the fact that the Bears have to label him as a backup quarterback to trade him, essentially, and get a backup quarterback package instead of a starting quarterback package.
Okay, so I want to circle back, not back to the Keenan Allen side of things, but more so on the Chargers now, because I think we need to heavily talk about this. Last year, The Chargers had skill position wise Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett. This year it's Quentin Johnson, Gus Edwards. I don't know, and I don't know. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely a big.
Oh no, so I have it here. Sorry, Gus Edwards, Quentin Johnson, Joshua Palmer, Will Disley.
Oh yeah, it's a big fall off for sure. Right, you lost Everett. You lost legit all of them. You lost every single one. So we're just saying that Brock Bowers I think is a Charger
Or whoever the best weapon they
or Malik Neighbors as well.
Or Roma Dunzi.
But they have a situation, right? They could go O-line and just focus on protecting Herbert. At this rate, other than a quarterback and a running back pick in the first round, you pick a tackle, you pick a wide receiver, you pick a tight end in the first round. They're all upgrades for your team. So, yes, maybe you don't pick Malik Neighbors, you go Joe Alt or Olufashanu. That's still good. Maybe you go Malik Neighbors. Issue is Herbert's going to get hit. So what do you value more, protection or weapons? They're both very important. So whatever you get, you have many options. You can't miss on a draft pick here. You genuinely can't, because no matter what position you get on the offensive side of the ball that's not quarterback or running back will be an upgrade for your team.
Jim Harbaugh is going to take Blake Corum.
Imagine.
But no, okay, question for you though.
He's going to get fired
What
instantly.
do you think they should do?
I think you got to focus on protecting Herbert.
See, I'm thinking the other way. I've seen Herbert. I know it's a risk. I've seen Herbert.
But we've seen Herbert get injured. We seen Herbert run around, escape, and make plays. Yeah, there's no questioning that.
But the problem is,
we've
he
seen
had
Herbert
weapons to throw to when he was running away.
But we've seen Herbert get hurt. That's the number one priority. You have your quarterback. You can't lose him through injuries.
I would say listen to Herb and say, would you want a weapon for you to throw to? Because you have
no listen.
One.
Honestly, essentially,
Burrow, like what you did to Burrow.
Let Herbert honestly go up to Herbert, be like, you want a lineman or you want a weapon?
Because literally what happened.
Because no matter what happens, whatever you pick, you can't be wrong.
The Burrow draft was they needed a tackle. They needed a tackle. Whoever the best player available was. But they ended up getting Jamar Chase, and everybody thought that was the wrong pick. Turned out to be the right pick. Yes, was he still getting chased like crazy the following year? Yes. Then they addressed the O-line the year later.
And they made the Super Bowl that year. Listen to Herbert. Honestly, this is, if you get this draft pick wrong, there's something wrong with you, because everything, is an upgrade for you on the offensive side of the ball.
Should Justin Herbert request a trade?
Yeah,
depending on what happens at the draft.
I don't. Yeah, it depends, right? If they just freaking draft like a Dallas Turner out of nowhere, then I probably would. They have to go offense. They generally have to go offense here.
I would say give it 1 year under this new regime, but clearly this new regime to him is like, you took away all my weapons. Literally, you took away everything.
Yeah, he has nothing.
Right? You did not even upgrade Eckler to Saquon.
Which
was a rumor. At least if you had Saquon, I would have been like, okay, then go O-line for sure. That's why I'm leaning whoever you believe the best available weapon is between Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunzi, because we know Marv is going to the Cardinals at this point.
At this rate, you just gotta pick the best available offensive player.
Yeah,
that's not in the backfield essentially. Which honestly,
the reason why I'm also leaning skill position is, at least if you're running around and you're making a throw, someone will catch it. If you get the protection, is Quentin Johnson gonna catch the ball for you?
Oh, we don't know.
Unless they make.
Unless he has a sophomore bump, not a sophomore slump.
I mean, I'm not calling him a bust right now, but the other guys look better. Including a guy like Josh Downs, who went
Flowers, Downs, Nakua,
right? And then there was
Addison,
yeah.
They're all better than Quentin Johnson.
So, quick question before we talk about the Vikings trade that they made and our thoughts on it. Scariest offense in the NFL. I'll just give it to you straight up, but I'm gonna just, for the viewers listening, I already said the Justin Herbert, the Chargers. Broncos, Jarrett Stidham, Javonte Williams, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Adam Trotman being the tight end.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, Devin Singletary, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, Darren Waller.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard, Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson, Tommy Tremble. Where do you lean the most? You can look at it if you want. I have my 1 and 2. I'll give you mine in the meantime while you look at it.
Yeah, give yours at the meantime.
So I'm still sticking with, I think QB is the most important position. So I'm still sticking with Chargers as the more scarier one because of that. Number 2 for me might be Carolina. Honestly.
Chuba, Deontay, Tommy Tremble.
Right? Like you would.
I agree with you. I'll go with Herbert number 1. I'm probably going to go Giants number 2. Reason being, I like Darren Waller. Darius Slayton is okay.
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt is, honestly, he had flashes last year.
Yeah.
I think it was rookie year last year, right? Or second year? One of the two, whatever. He's a young guy. I think he has shown flashes. Denver, I'm not even going to talk about him. And then, yeah, Bryce definitely has, better weapons. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm leaning. So
I'm
we
leaning
have the
towards-
same 1 and 4, but we're flipping 2 and 3. So for me, the 2 is the Carolina Panthers, 3 is the New York Giants.
Yeah, I got Giants at 2. But yeah, those are some scary offenses. It's very scary.
Last thing before you pull up some of the signings that happened is Minnesota made a draft pick trade, and I'm not gonna pull up the whole trade. The key thing you need to know about this trade is they got another first rounder, I believe from Houston, right? So this begs the question: are they gonna package their own pick and this pick and go up high, maybe trade with the Giants to go down or whoever, and get a JJ McCarthy, who most likely will
Essentially,
be the guy.
like, honestly, that's what it's going to be used to talk about, and I won't be surprised if they do it. They got another asset, right? Getting that Houston first round pick. Again, it is high 20s. You could still get a stud out of there. You generally can. The draft class is, pretty good
Yeah,
in the sense of, a fair bit of positions. I think, there's some good edge players. There's some good corners. There's good everywhere. Like, there's good, 2-3 guys for each option. Each position, I mean. So I think they're honed in on JJ McCarthy. I think they love JJ McCarthy, and I think they know 1, 2, 3 are all gonna be quarterbacks. So they're gonna find a position, whether it be the Giants pick, whether it be the Bears pick as well. Like I could see the Bears trading back and getting 2 first round picks. They could have 3 total first round picks in this draft,
yeah,
right?
I won't be surprised.
And just get JJ McCarthy. But I think there's also reports saying that, like, if teams want JJ McCarthy, they have to. I don't think he's like, if it goes as is, JJ McCarthy's not falling past Minnesota. Teams are gonna have to leapfrog Minnesota to get JJ McCarthy.
And Denver has question marks right now.
Denver is definitely probably looking like the favorite.
All these
to get
quarterbacks
him.
are gone.
Exactly, yeah. So I would say Denver is probably the favorite to get him if no trades happen.
All right, moving on to some of the free agent signings, which you're gonna pull up right now. If there's any, I know there are a couple of small ones.
Small ones,
matter.
not like a Jerome Baker to Seahawks,
Tyler Huntley
to the Browns. Nothing really. It's been the trades.
The major one was Hollywood Brown, and which is he went to the Chiefs, right? And the Chiefs needed a guy. He's a guy there.
11 million. You were correct there as well, but that's gonna lead into some other talks, aka L'Jarius Sneed. Trade talks with the Colts, but the Dolphins I think are in there,
Titans.
and the Lions, the Titans.
But mainly the Colts and Titans is what I've seen so far. And the Colts heavily linked. There's 2 sources from the Colts side of things: Stephen Holder, Destin Adams. 2 completely different insider news or whatever, how you want to word it. 2 insider reporting, I guess. Stephen Holder saying, no trade is there. There's nothing agreed.
No chance, he's saying as well.
He's also the one that said Jonathan Taylor wants out of Indy, no doubt about it. He's also that same guy that said that. Whereas Destin Adams did get the Jonathan Taylor stuff right. He's like, I believe he wants to be in Indy. It's just a contract issue and nothing else, like how we were saying it.
Yeah, it was just overblown.
But Dustin Adams saying that his sources are saying a trade is close. It's more of the contract side of things. And Stephen Holder saying, no, it's the opposite. So far, nothing has happened. And Destin Adams has said that, some stuff has died down a little bit here. But essentially, right now, the rumor is that he's going to be at Indianapolis Colts. The Titans are in heavy on him. The contract talks right now, they're saying, the report I saw was $22 million a year for 4 years.
Yeah, so the main thing here is, like, a trade is close. The thing that's holding this deal up is the contract talks. It's the money talks, basically. And Destin Adams is basically saying he believes he will be a Colt. Stephen Holder saying he believes he will be a Chiefs. Like, he
won't be a Colt, essentially.
He won't be a Colt. And, 2 opposite takes for the 2 biggest guys in Indy for reporting as well.
Yeah. Destin Adams is not really the big one, but he does
like the more the indie sources.
He's dipping into it, but
the indie sources, those are the 2 big guys.
Yeah.
Right. Compared to, obviously there's a couple there as well that we don't know because we're not in indie.
But here's the thing, right? Like, obviously, I don't know. I'm at this point where if it happens, it happens. Great. Obviously, it'll determine what we do in the draft.
It's come to a point where, like, it's a point of no return for the Colts, right? You're in too deep. You got to get this deal done, because if you're looking at cornerback wise, there's nothing really available that's young.
Yeah.
Right. Gilmore's old. When you're looking in that sense, a Simmons could sign anytime. right? And Sneed and Simmons, in my opinion, are the two best secondary pieces available in this offseason. And where how atrocious your secondary was and how young it is as well, one of those two guys have to be a Colt.
Yeah.
And you've been all in on Sneed. You got to get this deal done.
And then
Because there's high chances that you get a Sneed and then a Condre Diggs signing as well, and a potential Julian Blackman signing. And the reason why you need to get that done is that opens up your draft pick for a weapon and not a cornerback. Because Sneed, a Julius Brents, a Jalen Johnson, and a Kenny Moore in the slot, I believe will get the job done as a secondary.
Yeah,
so a cornerback group.
One thing's for sure, Indianapolis Colts Twitter has been fun to be a part of. You're definitely missing out because I know you're not on it.
But I know I still see it.
It's funny though. But let's see how it goes. The talks are there for L'Jarius Sneed, who is the biggest outside of Jalen Johnson that was available for cornerback purposes.
For a bit.
Yeah,
Jalen Johnson got re-signed pretty early as well. It was Sneed, right? Because he wanted to get paid. He got tagged.
Yeah. And we have the space, so let's see how that goes. But moving on, news that came out of left field, but not totally surprising based on how the past went. We have a retirement. A future Hall of Famer. First ballot. No doubter. 10-time All-Pro in all 10 of his years.
Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl appearance.
2 Super Bowl
appearances. 3 times as well. Should have honestly gone like 10 times.
Could have been an MVP.
Could have been an MVP. Unless,
if you guys don't get it by now, it's Aaron Donald.
Rams legend.
Officially retires.
St. Louis legend. Los Angeles legend.
Officially retires. 10 years in the NFL. He did hint retirement after he won the Super Bowl. Ended up getting paid and was the most, like by a lot, the highest paid player outside of a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? And then now Chris Jones obviously surpassed that. Maybe that's why he's retiring. I don't know. But no, we got to give our flowers to Aaron Donald, right? Like, by far, I know people are going to bring up the older guys. Are going to bring up Lawrence Taylor, and I get that reason
and
why.
And D-tackle-wise, he might bring up, like, Warren Sapp or someone.
But
in our lifetime...
And we're not the only ones who say this either.
There is no one scarier than Aaron Donald.
There's a picture of him getting triple-teamed by the Seahawks, right? Like, we've seen DeForest Buckner get double-teamed.
Nobody gets triple teamed.
No one gets triple teamed like that.
Unless you're Aaron Donald.
And breaks it. The guy made the clutchest play in the Super Bowl. Not history, but like one of the clutch plays in the Super Bowl to seal the Super Bowl because it looked like Jalen Ramsey got beat and Jamar Chase had a walking touchdown.
Right? Oh, yeah.
So he closed out that Super Bowl to give himself the ring. You see the iconic ring me finger celebration and everything. But yeah, like I said, watching Aaron Donald play was insane. It was fun. I was glad I'm not part of the division. Kyler Murray came out and said, thank God.
Oh, yeah. I would say that too.
Seahawks fans, Cardinals fans, and Niners fans are happy that he's done, right? But respect to a legend, first ballot Hall of Famer. Probably put him in right now.
Put him in if you can right now.
99 goes to the rafters. And yeah, best of luck in retirement. Don't know what your plans are. Maybe you're part of a front office. Maybe you're part of a coaching staff. Maybe you're part of media. I don't know.
You return to haunt the Niners and the Seahawks and the Cardinals again.
But yeah, but all seriousness though, congratulations on your retirement. It was a pleasure watching you of all these years that I've been watching at least. And hopefully, I don't know if we'll ever see another guy like that, at least for a while.
Yeah.
That dominant in his position.
No one scarier that I've witnessed ever, especially on the defensive side. There's no one scarier.
Yeah.
But let's move on to...
Let's go on to some quick news first.
Quick news.
Right, not much to say.
UFC news in the sense of this is outside the ring news.
Yes.
In the sense of not even setting up a fight. A heroic move.
UFC legend Mark Coleman, one of the first champions in UFC history. I think he was a heavyweight champion, if I'm not mistaken. Was awake and responsive Thursday in Toledo, Ohio, a hospital after surviving a house fire earlier this week. We forgot to mention in this last episode, and we feel bad for that. In a video posted to Instagram, that was him being embraced by his 2 daughters. However, but what the situation was, Coleman rescued his parents from a fire at his childhood home in Ohio on Tuesday morning, according to his family. He suffered from smoke inhalation and was airlifted to the hospital. Coleman's dog, Hammer, died in that fire. So essentially what happened here was, I believe he was asleep. His dog woke him up to a fire. He woke up, took out his parents one by one, went back in to get the dog. Unfortunately passed out due to the smoke. Obviously, smoke is dangerous for your health.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Passed out. like I said, he was critical for a bit. Obviously awoke. Unfortunately, the dog has passed away, and obviously he has probably regrets about not saving the dog. But he is happy that he got to save his parents and stuff like that. And you guys could search up the video. It's a very very not sad but like happy tears video. I guess you could say that. Yeah, joy of tear video.
Yeah,
tears of joy. Sorry,
tears of joy. You know, a heroic move, ballsy move. You know, we talked about gutsy plays recently in a short.
Yeah,
that's probably the gutsiest move you could ever think of. Right there, going into a fire, saving your parents one by one. It's just, I don't know what else can you do. Genuinely, like, unfortunately, the dog did pass away. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't, toll on him too much in that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Coleman. Shout out to his dog as well. And glad he's awake. That's all I can say. And responsive.
Yeah, he was the inaugural heavyweight champion. The Fremont, Ohio native made his debut at UFC 10 in 1996. And Coleman was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2008. So, yeah, hope his health gets better soon, and everything is good. But it was such a heroic moment that we have to shout this out.
Yeah, we have to shout this out for sure.
Other news right now, baseball. We're going to be dropping our tier list this weekend, most likely, and our preview next episode. But, however, quick news, Blake Snell and the Houston Astros have some links. Not saying there's nothing
There's
done.
interest. There is, I guess, you could say some movement, potentially. We don't know. But Blake Snell, I think a Yankee target the whole time, has now become the Astros target as well. And, boy, that would be scary because, in my opinion, I do believe Astros, if they have a weakness, I think it's starting pitching.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's a little bit of news here. We'll dive deep into it next week or next episode. Quick basketball news. March Madness will be beginning shortly. As we are speaking right now, Selection Sunday is going on. By the time this episode comes out, Selection Sunday is completed. You'll know your 64-team bracket. So go fill out your brackets wherever you guys want to fill it. Let's see if you're one of those lucky guys. Maybe we fill one out on live or something. BTR. Not live, but like we film it or something. Yeah. We'll see. We'll decide on that. However, other bit of news I want to talk about very, very quickly is Isaiah Thomas. No, not the Hall of Fame legend. I was gonna say young, but the 5'7",
the
dude,
small,
is back in the league, and I love it. I love it very much.
IT was incredible, man.
He's been vocal about how teams should have vets, and we both agree on that, especially the young teams. He recently signed a contract with the Charlotte G League team, balled out there, and got a 10-day contract with one of his former teams, the Phoenix Suns.
Book it right here. Isaiah Thomas will be the finals MVP. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a 10-day contract. So that's
I loved Isaiah Thomas. I love watching that guy play. Obviously, felt like he got hard done by just a lot of teams.
It was injuries.
Obviously, then a lot of...
He was on that Kyrie trade.
And then he had everyone's like, yo, you can't play defense because you're so small type of thing.
Which is true, I guess.
Which is true. It just sucks because he was so good.
That Boston year.
It was so incredible. So fun to watch, right? What that man did, right, with all this stuff that was going on the side during that year, right, with his unfortunate passing of his sister, and still coming out and dropping 50.
Yeah.
Like, I don't... Like, performance-wise, there's obviously been better performances, but that has to be one of the best performances we've seen from an athlete.
Yeah. So... yeah, I'm glad he's in the league. Hopefully, I know he'll be like 12th man most likely, but we'll get to see some moments of him playing this year, especially with a little not depth-heavy team in the Phoenix Suns. It's just a 10-day contract. Maybe he signs a contract with like a Cleveland Cavaliers who need some vets. I think Marcus Morris is linked there. I'm not sure if he already signed there, but yeah. So welcome back, IT. But let's move on to some soccer. Closing out the pod. With some big news, UEL draw was good. The UCL draw, we have an FA Cup draw. We'll start off with the big one, though, the Champions League draw. We talked about the results last time.
I think the draw went perfectly. It went perfectly in the sense that Atletico and Dortmund, the two lowest teams in our rankings, got to meet up with each other, which means everyone else is a heavyweight matchup.
So we got the biggest heavyweight matchup, which is Real Madrid versus Manchester City.
Our 1 and 2 are
facing off with each other. And then it was the rest were the 3, 4, 5, 6 was kind of like interchangeable. However, people want to view it. With that being said, it is Arsenal versus Bayern Munich, PSG versus Barcelona, renewed reliving old rivalries there of history, and obviously, like you mentioned, Atletico Madrid versus Dortmund.
So
after that, the winner of quarterfinal 2, which is Dortmund Madrid, will take on quarterfinal 4, which is PSG Barca, and then the other two then will face off with each other.
So
in the semifinals,
Arsenal Bayern versus winner of Madrid and City, Real Madrid and Manchester City. But yeah, heavyweight matchups, reliving some old moments, aka Arsenal's pains from 5-1 defeats to Bayern Munich, the greatest comeback ever in Barcelona versus PSG, Real Madrid City, aka probably the
also a
rematch for the last 2 years in a row. Remember, Real Madrid came back against City that 2 years ago
when
they
Madrid
scored.
won it, and then
when Madrid won
City closed it out against.
So right now the pattern so far is that winner of this leg
should be the winner.
Should be the winner.
So that being said, early predictions: are Arsenal gonna, I guess, beat the boogeyman? I guess in this case, in Bayern Munich.
I think it goes, as much as Arsenal has been really good and they're a much improved team than back then, and Bayern is a much worse team from that back then this year, I'm still gonna go with Bayern Munich.
Arsenal struggled to finish the job against
Porto. They struggled against Porto. Bayern bounced back, and Bayern as a Champions League team was pretty incredible apart from that one game against Lazio.
Atletico Madrid versus Dortmund.
I'm gonna go with Madrid. The reason being, they're showing that they could come back, right? When they needed to attack, they dominated.
Antoine Griezmann is playing like that France Atletico Madrid.
That prime Antoine Griezmann. Riquelme came on and did an absolute banger job apart from the mess he had.
Yeah.
Memphis Depay was probably the most dominant player on the pitch when he subbed on next to Griezmann.
So just to get my predictions out of the way, I'm going with Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I really want to go Dortmund, but that performance against Inter Milan
showed
me that it has to be Atletico Madrid.
It was too good.
Real Madrid versus Manchester City.
All right. Madrid looks shaky against Leipzig. It is Madrid's tournament to lose every single year. But I'm going with Manchester City.
You had them picking to win anyways.
Because I picked them, right? Yeah, I did pick them. I went with the boring pick, so I'm just going to stick with that. I think City's going to go through.
I'm going with Real Madrid this time. PSG versus Barcelona.
Your squad's still in, the one that you picked.
Yeah, but I'm not confident at all.
Somehow. I think it's honestly good that they're versing PSG because in knockout stages, PSG never really do good. Apart from the 1 year where they made the final against Bayern Munich, I believe, and they still lost. But that was like single elimination due to COVID. Mbappe has been incredible. There's no doubt. It's just who's going to be Mbappe's support, right? They have some good players. They still have Hakimi. They still have Marquinhos. They still have other
Dembele.
What's the guy? Dembele. And then who's a striker they signed?
Oh,
Colomwani as well. I don't know how good he has been playing. They still have Donnarumma in net. Good players. Other than Mbappe, can anyone else step up? And Barcelona, can they just play like how they did against Napoli and not play like how they do in the league? Like the same situation as Bayern Munich. For this one, I'm going to go with PSG. Reason being, I think Mbappe is just going to take over.
Is Mbappe going to do what Eden Hazard did? Close it out, win a trophy for his team, doesn't matter what trophy it was, and then just leave.
I think so. Not winning a trophy.
Same thing with Declan Rice.
I'm not confident in winning a trophy, but at least making it far. And honestly, if Mbappe, there's not a good look for Messi and Neymar. The fact that they're able to do good in the Champions League.
More Neymar for sure.
Yeah, but Neymar technically did make a final.
With Mbappe though.
Yeah, that's true too.
Okay, last one.
Not a good look for Messi.
So for me, I'm obviously sticking with Barcelona. In that case, I think there's so much internal drama on PSG as well.
That's true.
Hey, Luis Enrique taking on Barcelona.
Yeah, a lot of drama.
So that being said, winner of quarterfinal 2 and 4. So you have PSG versus Madrid. Atletico Madrid.
As of right now, I will probably go with Atletico Madrid. I want to see them in the final again.
Okay, and then the other two, you have Bayern Munich versus Manchester City.
I'm gonna go with City.
So then your final, City wins?
Probably.
Okay, so for me, I'm going with Bayern Munich over Madrid. I'm going with Real Madrid. Then I have Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona. I have Barcelona. I'm reliving El Clasico. Barcelona has to go through the Madrids to win it all. And I think Real Madrid will beat them. in the final.
You just said Barcelona will go through the Madrid.
I know the way the season's going, you can't blame me for it's one game. So maybe Barcelona goes all out and wins that game.
Has there ever been an El Clasico final?
I don't think
like between Messi and Ronaldo.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
I haven't seen one, right? There's been a El Clasico like legs, right?
In like the cup, domestic cups though.
No, like in the Champions League, they had like a leg matchup. I think a semi-final or something.
I don't remember that.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
I think that was the only time they really met up in the Champions League.
I think Real Madrid will beat Barcelona in the final. I'm rooting for Barcelona, obviously.
So we'll see. El Clasico final. Comment down below. What do you think is gonna be the best final?
Yeah.
What matchup will be the best final? I don't think City Atletico will be a best final. So don't comment what I did.
Yeah. Europa League and Conference League draws, but I'm focused more on the Europa League here.
Yeah.
Quarterfinal 1, AC Milan versus Roma.
That's nice.
Quarterfinal 2, Liverpool versus Atalanta.
Another nice one.
Quarterfinal number 3, Bayer Leverkusen versus West Ham United.
Decent one again. They're all solid, yeah.
Quarterfinal number 4 is Marseille versus Benfica.
Again, they're all solid draws. They're all evenly matched up except for Liverpool. Should win.
We're not going to talk about the Conference League quickly, but Aston Villa's still in that one as well.
AC Milan should win. Bayer Leverkusen should win.
Bayer Leverkusen going to have to come back and win.
Yeah, I know, but they still should win. And then who's the other one? Benfica and Marseille. That's a toss-up in my opinion.
I'm going with Benfica on that one.
Yeah,
and Liverpool
I'll
should be Atalanta, right?
They should. Liverpool should.
Honestly, I think we both are going to have the same thing. It should be Liverpool, Bayer Leverkusen final. That'll have Xabi Alonso.
Yeah,
imagine. And then the Super Cup final, Liverpool versus Bayern Munich, maybe. And by a battle of Xabi Alonso.
Xabi Alonso might just go and get one of their jobs.
I mean, everybody's hoping for a Liverpool Bayer Leverkusen final.
Is that like how it is? So Liverpool has to go through AC Milan in the semi-final?
No, they have to go through Benfica or Marseille.
Oh, Benfica. Okay, so they're on the other side.
It's AC Milan.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Liverpool AC Milan just because.
History,
yeah. Just why not?
I don't mind that either, but I think people.
It has to be Bayer. It has to be Bayer.
Bayer has a chance.
They do. They generally do.
And they get Champions League. I mean, they'll still get Champions League.
They're getting Champions League already. Yeah.
But yeah, so those are. I'm actually intrigued to watch both of these now. Like, normally when it comes to Europa League, it's like wait till the knockout stages and then it gets.
Or just watch United games.
That too, but like outside of that, like no one really watches Europa League until they get to the good spots.
Speaking of Manchester United, they just put on an instant classic. A 4-3 victory over Liverpool. And what a game it was, right? It started off with Man United dominating, then it went to Liverpool, and they're like, okay, yeah, we're probably going to lose. Man United get a goal in the first 20 minutes, McTominay. Liverpool get 2 right before halftime. You know, it feels like Liverpool going to take over. But they are the worst team at 4v2 counterattacks, 4v1 counterattacks, 5v2, whatever it is. Odd man rushes, odd man counterattacks. Liverpool are at the bottom of the list.
Which is funny because in the past they were lethal.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that they do better 11v11 break down a team than they do better on like 4v2, 3v2s, right?
Yeah.
And they just couldn't put Man United away. And that's when the man, the myth, he's not going to be a legend. And he's definitely a myth when he comes onto the field. Except for today, Anthony comes on and scores an equalizer. And with his right foot.
Changed the game, yeah.
And honestly, Anthony had a good performance.
Yeah, he did.
He had a good performance. To set up a Rashford winner in the 90th minute. So we thought, because he missed the breakaway and put it wide. Going to extra time, Liverpool, Harvey Elliott, deflection goal. None
of the goals were really on Nana's fault.
Yeah. And then second half, extra time, Man United only had 2 defenders on the field.
It was hilarious.
It was one because Harry Maguire was essentially playing as a striker.
Yeah.
And it comes to a point where Rashford redeems himself. McTominay great pass, great through ball. I think it was a turnover by Sycamus, their left back.
Someone, yeah.
Yeah, a turnover comes to McTominay, through ball to Rashford. Good finish, clean finish. And then McTominay misses a chance. Rashford put the ball in. McTominay hits it just wide. And then it comes to a point where Bruno Fernandes was playing center back. We're probably heading to penalties up until Ahmed Diallo makes an incredible challenge, goes on a 2v1, sends in Garnacho for a 2v1, and Ahmed Diallo is running in. Garnacho sets up Ahmed Diallo, scores, takes his shirt off, celebrates. We were celebrating. And then the next frame comes up, or next scene, Ahmed Diallo is getting rushed to the locker room because that was a second yellow and he gets a red card.
Yeah, so obviously the scenes at our house was insane. Did not expect that. Obviously, the history shows that Man United should be winning this game because they beat Liverpool, especially at home, when FA Cup matchups, right? And it was a great game, probably one of the game of the years for sure. We've seen some classics this year in the Premier League. and the Champions Leagues or whatever. But like this year specifically, I think this is up there, especially the rivalry, the stake, and all that. But yeah, so United are through. They're in the semifinals along with Manchester City, who handled business. Chelsea, who survived after that horrendous own goal by Disasi.
Yeah, but I think they ended up winning 4-2.
They ended up winning 4-2 because of a great goal afterwards.
Yeah, so they're up 2-0, and then that Disasi own goal, and they made it 2-2. Who would it
Leicester City.
Leicester City. And then they got a 90th minute winner, and then a 90th minute, another 90th minute, I guess, dagger.
Minute, and then after that, the upset. Coventry City were up, then down against Wolves, and then went up and won the game. Leading to now Manchester United, the draw. Man United is versing Coventry, and Man City is versing Chelsea, which is good because Chelsea gave Man City trouble this year.
Oh, they did. I think they got 2 draws out of them.
Exactly.
Right, in both Premier League games.
Yeah.
But yeah, Man United did get the favorable draw. And knowing Man United, they might just screw it up.
Yeah.
But we hope not. And we're probably going to see
probably a
Manchester Derby rematch in the FA Cup final.
Exactly.
From last year. And City,
and then that means, hey, it could be another 3 or treble for City.
It could be another treble for City.
But
again.
no, how bad the season's going. Man United are still there. They're 9 points off 4th, to be honest. But they're a couple of points. They're 5 points off.
They could make a 6 because Tottenham lost to Fulham.
So they could be 5th, is what you're saying.
No, like I talk about they could cut the points down to 6, right?
Oh yeah.
Because like from 9 to 6.
Exactly.
If they win their game in hand.
Because Villa drew, right? So, but yeah, that's the FA Cup side of things. So it was a good day of soccer. This week the draws are insane. Everything you could check out. This weekend, this summer of soccer in general, you got the Champions League final, the Europa League final, you got the Copa America, you got the Euros, and you got the Olympics. How much?
As well, yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun one. But make sure you guys, this is gonna end. We're gonna end it right here. We'll talk more NBA and NHL closer to playoffs as we get to it. MLB season preview predictions will happen next episode. Make sure you guys check out the tier list that will be dropping. NBA, the GOAT of each NBA team. First up, part 1, Western Conference already out. Make sure you guys check that out. Like that video. Like this video. Subscribe for more content, more podcast episodes, YouTube Shorts. Follow our socials, link down below. Instagram Reels and TikToks. Audio listeners, once again, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys keep downloading it, rating it, and reviewing the podcast. And other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.